First game of the preseason edition. Josh Taylor here with you. Joined in studio from 93.7 The Fan and the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Ron Cook. And Ron, I guess it's safe to say that we are officially in the preseason, so welcome to the preseason.
Thank you.
Where, if you're a fan of the show, Whose Line Is It Anyway, the points don't matter and the wins don't count. But let's start to break this down. I think the things that stick out, especially in a game where a lot of the big-name players weren't playing. No Ben Roethlisberger, no Antonio Brown, of course, no Le'Veon Bell, no edge rushers, no Bud Dupree, no T.J. Watt. So the new faces were going to be the ones that we saw the most of. First impressions of some of the new guys that you saw tonight.
Well, I mean, I thought it was a typical first game. There were a lot of good things, a lot of bad things, a lot of mistakes. I thought James Conner ran real well tonight. I think he had a 8-yard run, an 8-yard run, and a 7-yard run. But you know what? He also missed a blitz pickup that got Landry Jones sacked. Everybody thinks Le'Veon Bell is so easy to replace. What he does tremendously is block for Ben Roethlisberger as well as run and receive. So I think that's something Conner has to work on. We saw him miss one last year. It was in the Jacksonville game. One of the 5 interceptions Ben threw that day he was responsible for. The quarterbacks I thought were all okay. Landry Jones had the pass to Juju that went for a touchdown. I thought the best pass of the night came from Dobbs to Patterson, right down the rope, right down the middle of the end zone, and then Patterson gives it the little backflip afterwards. But Jones threw an interception. I thought he could have, Dobbs threw an interception. I thought he could have thrown another one. It was dropped. And Rudolph, it's so hard to judge when you play the second half of the first game when there's nobody in there. You're not playing with anybody good, and you're not really going against anybody good. It's kind of hard to tell. So about what I expected, some really good things, and I thought some bad things too.
What did you see on the defensive side of the ball? Because obviously we just talked about the offensive side. There were some guys on defense that everybody has questions about. John Bostic among them. Tyler Matakevich, people have questions. Of course, Morgan Burnett, the new safety. Right. Terrell Edmonds, people are looking at him. Then we see guys like Ola Adaney, who comes in and actually makes a pretty quick play around the right end to get a sack there. So some new faces and getting opportunities that they normally probably wouldn't get. So your impressions with the defense?
Well, they were going against the third and fourth string quarterbacks. Didn't play, and Foles didn't play either. So you're going against the third and fourth string guys. They did get a couple interceptions. Sensabaugh had one. Cam Sutton had one. There were some missed tackles. On one play, Bostic, Burns, and I want to say, I forget who the third guy was. 3 guys missed them. But then Bostic made a couple nice plays on like the next series. So that's what I said. Some good, some bad. Missed tackles still a problem. Matakevich had a clear shot for a sack on a blitz, and the quarterback got away from him and threw a touchdown on that play. So some good, some bad. Again, it's hard to judge when you don't have Cam and Tuitt out there and some of those other guys. But first step, they got to win. Not that it means anything, and I think the best part is they got out of it relatively injury-free. Finney, you heard Mike Tomlin say had a calf contusion. That could be serious, I guess. We don't know. He's a very valuable guy to them because their offensive line already is hurting for depth. But I think he's the only one, according to Tomlin, that came out with any kind of injury problem. That's your nightmare, that somebody gets hurt in the first game.
And the fact that it was only a guy like B.J. Finney, not that you don't want to discount anybody else, but to walk away with only one reported injury, and it's a minor one, any coach will take that deal anytime they step on the field in a preseason game. So that's definitely good news. Looking at some of the finer points in this game, I know you talked about the plays that were made or missed on offense and also on defense. A couple things that stand out. The Landry Jones touchdown to Juju Smith-Schuster. You saw that on a play where Landry Jones used some Catons. Mike Tomlin talked about it after the game, using Catons to catch the Eagles off guard. The veteran move, if you will, but to his credit, he used it and threw the touchdown pass. So a couple of those plays that you do see some guys make that maybe you wouldn't expect to see from guys that aren't necessarily your starters in the preseason, but those small things, some things to pick from.
Yeah, I mean, Rudolph had one too where same thing. They jumped off sides. He had a free play, and he completed it. You know, I thought his best pass was the sideline pass to Washington. How many times do you think they've made that play? 100 times?
Probably 100
in practice or at games at Oklahoma State. It was nice to see. But you know what really bothered me a little bit, and I'm sure bothered Mike Tomlin, was special teams. I thought Philly had better special teams. Their returns were better. And then the Steelers had not one but 2 lining up illegally on an extra point. So Philly ends up going for two twice. Now, they made it the first time, didn't get it the second time, and the Steelers also jumped off sides on the kickoff. Those are inexcusable mistakes. I
can
now,
hear
on
Danny
the other
Smith
side of that,
screaming now.
the other side of that is the Eagles were penalized much more than the Steelers, and the Steelers did not have one lead with the helmet penalty. I think Philly had two tonight, so that was good. So there was good and there was bad.
Also, two double-team blocking penalties on Philadelphia on kick return, too. So those are some of the new rules. We'll keep an eye on the lowering of the helmet, also the double-team blocks on kickoff returns, things of that nature. Those are things that we'll continue to probably see a lot of as the preseason goes along. We got to take a break here. When we come back, we'll take calls, we'll answer tweets. We'll do all those things. Stick around.